In the ancient city of Calabar, where whispers of royal secrets floated through the air and danger lurked behind every shadow, a young man named Okon was caught in a deadly game of desire. He was poor, but his striking looks drew the attention of someone he could never refuse, Attem, the young and restless queen, trapped in a loveless marriage to the old King Offiong. Their forbidden love, cloaked in secrecy, ignited a chain of events that would test the limits of power, loyalty, and fate itself. But in a kingdom where the king's word was law and betrayal was met with brutal vengeance, could Okon and the queen escape their fateful end? Get ready for the shocking revelation that will change everything you thought you knew about the queen and Okon's secret love. Okon, a young man of Calabar, handsome yet poor, walks through the empty market picking up scraps. His tattered bag swings lightly over his shoulder as his strong physique contrasts with his humble state. Queen Attem, the beautiful but restless wife of King Offiong, sends her servant to find a young, handsome lover to fill the void left by her aging husband. The servant approaches Okon with the queen's message, tempting him with the promise of secret love and wealth, but fear grips his heart at the thought of the king's wrath. Under the cover of darkness, Okon sneaks to the side door of the palace, where the queen, dressed in her finest, eagerly awaits him. The queen bathes Okon in fine clothes and hides him in her chambers, enjoying his company for days as she secretly feeds and clothes him. The queen sends extravagant gifts to Okon's mother, raising suspicions as the story of her affair begins to spread among the king's servants. Unable to bear the separation, the queen calls Okon back to her palace after his brief stay with his mother. The king's servants discover the affair and inform the king, leading to Okon's capture and judgment in the palace. The king orders Okon's brutal execution, and his jaw is severed by the king's Egbo men in the forest. After mourning Okon's death, the queen is captured and faces the same punishment, ending in a tragic death alongside her servant. The king banned Okon's family, forbidding them from ever picking food in the market again, and that no one was to pick up the leftovers in the market, a tradition that lives on through time. The king made an exception to the law in favor of the vulture and the dog, who were not considered very fine people, and would not be likely to run off with one of the king's wives. And that is why you still find vultures and dogs doing scavenger in the marketplaces even at the present time. Greed and dishonesty, no matter how enticing, often lead to ruin. Okon's desire for luxury and the queen's betrayal of her vows brought them temporary pleasure, but in the end, their choices cost them their lives. True happiness cannot be built on deception, and even the most tempting desires must be weighed against the consequences. As this tale reminds us, loyalty, integrity, and caution are the pillars of a life lived wisely.